What's up, guys? Welcome back to CMB Bass. And today I want to give my top five baits for October into fall. When I think about fall, I want to be able to cover a lot of water. So, with these five baits, you're going to be able to tell that I'm going to be able to cover a lot of water, except for one of them is not, you don't cover a lot of water with. But you can see with the other four that I can cover some water with it. So, with that being said, let's get this show on the road, guys. The first one that I'm going to have tied on my boat is going to be the spinnerbait. With the spinnerbait, guys, um, what I'm going to uh, be looking at throwing at is I want to throw into cover. Throwing it into cover, I mean, as in laydowns, brush piles, docks with pylons. I want to throw uh, rock ripraps. But when I'm throwing into the laydowns, throwing into the brush piles, I want to get tight, 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 guys. I cannot emphasize on how tight you want to get this. Uh, and I guarantee you, if you're throwing in there tight onto these uh, brush piles and laydowns, you are going to catch big fish. Guys, and another thing is, I have not been using the typical spinner baits like you see right here. I have been throwing it, but I've been using the Thunder Rocket spinner baits. And with that being said, you're looking at it, you're like, what in the world is this thing? This is going to push out a lot of water. So with that water displacement, it's going to kind of do like what your regular willow leaves and um, Colorado blades are going to do. But this thing also, listen to this, it has a knocker in it. So that makes this spinnerbait look different in the water. It's going to have a different sound. You're going to catch more fish with this, guys. But when I'm throwing and I feel like I'm getting like short strikes and maybe that the bass is kind of pushing it away, that they're really not hitting it. I do not want to put a trailer hook on this because I am throwing so tight up into the laydowns, into the brush piles. I do not want another hook that's going to allow it to get caught into whatever I'm throwing it into. So, with that being said, when I start noticing that happening, I uh, I like to switch to bait number two. Oh, square bill. I just dropped that other one. But the square bills, I like throwing. My personal opinion is I like throwing this. I'll throw it in the exact same cover that I'm throwing that spinner bait in. Um, this right here is the Bruiser Cruiser. This is a phenomenal square bill at Bruiser Baits. This right here is going to catch a lot of fish. I like to use to have like a shad color, a chartreuse in black, like the one I just dropped, and then also I throw this bluegill color ever so often. But the reason why I had this one and that other one is this one has a knocker. That other one didn't. The one that dropped and went all the way to the wall. But this one does have a knocker. When I like to use the knocker is like when I've got a windy day, it's raining, the water's choppy. I will go to a square bill that has a knocker in it. When it's a good clear day, maybe it's just cloudy or whatever, the water's smooth. I want to have that silent, so I want a quiet square bill. Um, so with that, I believe that makes a difference, and that is when I change from a square bill that has a knocker to a square bill that does not have a knocker. So that's bait number two. Bait number three that that I'm going to be throwing is going to be lipless crankbaits, and these two lipless crankbaits I will throw all fall long. I like throwing one that has like a crawl pattern, and I like throwing one that has a shad color to it. And what I'm looking for when I'm throwing these two baits is I'm going to look for like a back of a slough, a back of a creek that has a muddy flat to it. So what's going to happen is them bass are going to push that bait onto the top of that mud flat, and when they're doing that, they're going to be able to ambush. So I'm not giving the standard retrieve onto these. I am throwing it out there and I'm yo-yoing this thing, popping it up, letting it go back down, popping it up, letting it go back down. So what it's doing is imitating a injured or dying uh, bait fish. So, and I guarantee you do that and you look for them muddy flats in the back of them creeks, into the back of them sloughs, you're going to crush some bass with this. Uh, Another thing that I like to use these crankbaits, and it kind of will transition into the next bait that I'm going to use. I like looking for grass patches. When I'm looking for grass patches, I'm only looking for grass patches that have green grass patches in it. That's what I want to look for. Green grass. They're going to have more oxygen. It's going to be able to hold the bait fish a lot better. And so if it's holding bait fish, it's going to be holding bass right there around it. So what I'll do is I'll throw this into it. And once it gets into the grass patch, I'm going to rip the lipless crankbait out of that grass patch. I'm looking for a reaction bite coming out with this coming out of that grass patch. So with that being said, I'm looking at grass patches. Let's go to the next one. The next one is going to be a buzzbait. This right here, you can cover a lot of water. Again, I'm looking going around grass, throwing it on top of grass, bringing it through. And when I'm looking in the fall, I definitely want to have the blade that has a bigger blade on it, because I'm wanting to be able to have it to get up, have the water displacement and the noise going through, right? So, with that being said, I want to my retrieve on this. I want it to be as slow as possible. So the slowest that I can get it to where it stays up and coming through on the top of that water is how I want to retrieve that. So I'm also throwing this around docks, throwing it around brush piles, throwing it around downfalls. Um, this bait right here, you can cover a lot of ground. So let's do like that. With that being number 4, guys, let's look at the last bait that I'm going to be using and always will have tied on all year around. Can never fail bait. Let's look at see what that is. Guys, it's going to be the Texas rig. This right here will catch fish all year round. When it comes into the fall, I'm switching it from throwing like my Senkos or worms. I'm changing it to the crawls, guys. The crawls going to make a big difference. This here is a smoke purple. Guarantee if you get some smoke purple, you're going to be catching some fish. Um, that's a little tip that I've been using for the past 3 or 4 years. I've been smashing fish in the fall on this smoke purple. That color, I don't know what it is about that smoke purple, but that color is the jam. So, fall, crawl, Texas rig. I'm throwing it. I could throw this around downfalls, up in the bushes, around the docks, rock riprapes. I could throw this thing anywhere. Um, so even if it's like on the muddy flats, I can bring it back off of it, and I can just scoot it along the bottom. I can hop it up or whatever, and I guarantee you, you're going to catch a lot of fish. And if you don't really want to throw the Texas rig, I will also go to like a jig, like one of those for the structure jigs and stuff like that, to be able to get. You won't get as many hits as you will with the Texas rig, but you will get bigger bites on the jig. But Texas rig is something I have tied on my boat. all year round. 12 months out of the year, I have a Texas rig some way or another tied onto uh, on my boat, ready to go. So, guys, with that being said, I the that is my 5 baits that I'm having tied on, the best baits that I have found for October, guys. That, I mean, you use them and put them into play, I guarantee you are going to catch a lot of fish. um, so with that being said, guys, I hope you have fun, enjoy, throw these baits. Let me know if you have any other baits that you were using in October, into the fall. But these are the baits that I have found out personally for myself that I have caught a bunch of fish on and have been able to cover a lot of ground, because them bass are not uh, they're not in one general location. They are kind of scattered out, so you want to be able to cover ground. So with these baits, I'm able to cover ground and and get some good bites on. So guys, I hope to see you out